next.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
We appreciate it.
It's a real
First
treat.
guest since
First guest.
the world went to hell.
Yep, it's great.
Yes, sir.
Ironically, we got a guy who was on the front lines of that.
Absolutely, man. Straight in China. Yeah, coming from the source, so feels good to be home, but
Yeah, shit. How was the culture shock?
it was
with
wild,
that?
man, and I'm a pretty adventurous guy, and I like to travel and whatnot. So going over there, I thought, obviously it's a very different culture. I mean, I don't think you can go to a different place in the world where you're gonna have quite as much of just a different lifestyle. But
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad. I mean, we got there and the team was good. Like they organizationally, like they just kind of set everybody up pretty well, and then we were kind of going through the same thing with 20 other pretty much mostly North American guys that a lot of their first time as well. So it was kind of nice to have people to go through that with. We kind of just weren't getting thrown in with
Right.
with nobody to kind of relate to. So
So it was a lot of
good
new
in
players.
that sense. Yeah,
this year?
so I think there's only like 6 or 7 that had played on that team in the previous year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so it was a pretty new team, and they're trying to sign a lot of bigger guys and stuff this year, and trying to kind of build a solid team for these next couple of years, and it seems like that's kind of what they've done. I think there's going to be quite a few guys back for the next year or so. So now that we've kind of all gone through it, know what we're doing a little bit at least, it'll be probably a little smoother next year, and especially if a pandemic doesn't hit there. But
I was going to ask, how old is that team?
Yeah.
I think this was their 4th year.
Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they've been around for a little while.
Oh, okay. I thought they were a little bit newer.
And
That's
that's
still pretty new.
Still pretty new, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's KHL, yeah?
That's KHL, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're playing against teams there with like these Russian teams.
I was
like,
gonna say,
they
yeah.
kind of stick together, and it would be similar to an NHL team, I guess, where you have your kind of core groups on those teams that have been there for there's like guys that have been playing on the same team for 10 plus years. So to be a new team and have a lot of guys that don't really know what the hell they're doing there. It actually ended up being a pretty good season.
Nice, man.
Where did you guys Where did you guys place? How many teams are in that league even?
So there's 22 teams in the league.
Oh, really? I thought it was closer to 30.
Yeah, no, it's actually kind of small. And we ended up finishing like a couple points out of a playoff spot. The top, I think it's the top 8 teams in each conference made the playoffs, and we missed it by a couple points.
Oh, really?
But, yeah, maybe a good thing in the end because the season got canceled anyways. I guess we got to get out of there a little bit earlier,
Right?
Yeah.
which was kind of nice looking back. So
Yeah. Shit.
Season run's pretty much the same as the NHL, or is it kind of...
it's about a month earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit. So is it like mostly Russian players?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's I mean, so most of the teams are Russian.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually, I think 6 or 7.
So there's some teams
maybe
from like Sweden and Finland and
yeah,
stuff
maybe
mixed in, aren't
maybe
they?
6 other countries. There's
Okay.
Finland, Kazakhstan. It's like some wild places.
Yeah.
Latvia. What else we got? Jeez, I'm not gonna be able to think of it now. But yes, there's like 6 or 7 countries.
So there's a fuck ton more traveling involved, eh?
Yeah,
Especially
it's
for
insane.
your team,
Yeah,
right?
like man, we would say.
What's
like,
the closest team? Kazakhstan team? Probably?
Closest team's actually far eastern Russia.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
Way there.
so that's only like a couple hour flight straight north for the most part. But but then we also fly to Finland, which is 15 hours, 15-hour travel
Oh,
days.
man.
So yeah,
That's
it was pretty crazy. Yeah, and then we'd be flying through time zones. Like I think Finland was 6 time zones. We'd fly to Moscow all the time. That was like 4 or 5, and like. So your sleeping schedule is always fucked up, and
Yeah, that would be
always-
the toughest part.
That would be the hard part.
it's tough. Yeah, like we pretty much drink it off or do what you got to do, but yeah, a lot of sleeping on the planes and stuff like that. So that's a bit of a wake up call trying to hop into that.
Yeah, that's a big factor, I guess, right?
I've
Because-
never even thought about it.
Well,
like that.
Yeah.
Like even North America is what, 4 time zones total?
Yeah.
Right?
Not,
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
one-
Pacific.
That one, ours,
This one,
the next
Central,
one.
Eastern.
There you go.
And then even like East Coast teams will complain about playing West Coast teams or
Yeah,
whatever,
exactly.
right?
And that'd be our best flight.
Yeah.
We'd be laughing.
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, we're flying across 5 or
Yeah.
6, and when you have to like play a game, or when you show up, you get there that night, and it's like,
So is the game
it's
then
1
is it
a.m.
usually the
already.
next day sort of thing?
So,
or what?
I mean, normally we'd fly in. They'd normally give us like 2 or 3 days.
Oh, okay,
If it was a long one, they'd give us a couple days for sure
Right,
too.
right.
But yeah, like you'd fly in, we'd get into Moscow, and it'd be like 1 a.m,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's wide awake because it's like what's 8 o'clock for us, 8
Yeah.
p.m. Like nobody's
Yeah.
falling asleep and whatnot. So that'd be tough. But the other solution to that was sometimes we'd fly into a place, and then you just stay on that time zone. So,
Right. Because you have longer like home stands and road stands.
yeah,
don't you?
exactly. Yeah, it's like normally it's a couple weeks
Mm-hmm.
minimum if we're flying pretty far, but
Yeah.
yeah, so like we'd fly into Moscow, and we'd be on a 2 or 3 week road trip, and if we'd have to fly, through time zones the whole time, we'd kind of we'd get into Moscow, everybody get acclimated to the time, and then we'd literally stay on that time zone for the rest of the road trip. So like our schedule would be really messed up, but it would be kind of like a normal day for
Right.
us. So
I guess that makes it. I don't know.
makes it
But
a
don't
little
they-
bit better, but like
Don't they say it's a day for every hour you travel to adjust to that time
I
zone
think
or
it's a
something?
lifestyle because it's taken
Yeah.
me like 2 weeks to adjust to like
Yeah, or the,
I wouldn't be too surprised on that.
yeah.
that does sound very
I
urban
would
myth.
not want to
but-
be the whoever does the scheduling for the
Oh,
team.
oh,
God.
Like
Oh,
That'd be a
man.
nightmare.
okay, we're playing Moscow, now we're playing Finland. Like how
Oh
the
man.
We actually have like our guy that kind of does all that stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was unbelievable, and so we get into China, and like this guy basically does everything for everybody. Like I remember whatever I signed, and then I'm like, okay, what the hell am I doing? Like I don't have a clue what I'm doing. Like am I supposed to book flights? Am I supposed to what do I bring? Am I going to be in a house?
Right.
Like
Where do I
all
go?
this stuff. So there's like basically one guy that the whole team goes through, and so he helped me out with a lot of stuff, and then we get into China, and we're going through training camp, and he's stressed out, and everybody's giving him shit, and he ends up like freaking out, like having a night where he's just like, I'm done with this shit, ends up quitting, and so he quit for like a week, and everybody was like in complete panic mode because nobody else does any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Were you
you
guys
kinda
already
go
there?
into yeah, we were already there,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" Like the GM's like talking to guys about shit he shouldn't be having to, and you got the coaches trying to make up for everything. Where things got pretty crazy. Guys
Yeah.
were like panicking, and all of us. I think they kind of begged him to come back, and he was like, "All right, let's do this. Maybe treat me a little bit better next time." So, because you guys are absolutely fucked without me, but
Yeah.
bump the salary?
Yeah, so that was pretty wild.
Yeah. Was it? Yeah. So like, did you live in like an apartment? Like it was Beijing, right?
Yeah,
that you were
so in Beijing, and I actually lived in
in? Are there
hotels.
houses or is it just all condos?
Not a single house.
Yeah.
It was actually funny. We were talking with some of like the Canadian guys on the team. It's like you don't see a single house when you're over there in general, and that's not even in China. That's like all these European
Europe, yeah.
countries and whatnot. It's just everybody's living in apartments and stuff, and I mean China's even worse for that. Like China's just apartment buildings. Like you wouldn't see a house
Right.
anywhere, and so.
Hadn't
So-
even thought of that.
Kind of went in with the hope that we'd be able to get like a nice apartment, or something would be set up for us where you can have kind of a little bit of Western stuff, and you don't feel like you're living right in China.
A little
but-
slice of home kind of thing.
Exactly, but that didn't happen. So it's actually super expensive to get a bigger like a nice apartment, like something that we would think was like a standard apartment. Like
Yeah.
they didn't really have a lot of that there. Everything's small, and
Oh yeah.
everything's very small and
I've
cramped
heard some
together, and
stories.
certainly, and so yeah, I basically lived in a hotel all year. It kind of seemed like it was going to be the best option, and yeah, I'd basically check in and out every like couple weeks. We'd get back to China, I'd go straight to the storage room. They'd bring my shit out. I'd haul up like 4 suitcases because I thought I'd be going there and like kind of unpacking and living in a house, but basically just ended up having all this extra shit that I'd have to pack up and and unpack, throughout the whole year, which was pretty brutal. But yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
it was the same hotel though every time you came
for the most part. Okay. We would switch a little bit, but yeah, some guys had like Airbnbs. There's actually a guy on the team. So because of that coronavirus, we ended up leaving pretty early out of China, going to Russia, staying there for a while, and so like everybody was under the impression like we ain't going back to China, like crazy shit's going on, not a chance, like unless it was absolutely essential. Like I don't think anybody was going back, but a couple guys got stuck in Airbnbs, and so basically they were in somebody else's house and they had to go back at the end of the year, like right when the coronavirus was kind of blaring, and like pack up their shit and move it out. So that's pretty tough too.
Oh shit. Damn.
Yeah. I actually haven't talked to him about how that experience was, but
that sounds like a nightmare to say the least. Yeah. So shit.
Do you full hazmat?
Yeah, seriously.
But even I'm just thinking as you say that, because like since everyone's living arrangement was so like kind of temporary.
Yeah.
Like kind of the like psychology of that, like it would just be kind of discomfort the whole year. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be hard to get in a groove and get kind of settled. Right?
Yeah, you don't ever really feel like you're at home, which would get frustrating. Obviously, you miss the comforts. I mean, the worst part of the whole thing is that you don't really feel like you're at home, and then you also can barely use your phone because
I was gonna.
So yeah, they have these. So they have the firewalls up, and you legitimately need a VPN for absolutely everything.
Oh, okay, but do they work there? Because I noticed you like posted some stuff on Instagram and stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, how does he have Instagram?
Yeah, well, in Russia it was fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in China, basically the way it works is you have to get these VPNs, but the problem is like you have to have really good internet too, and like so if the Wi-Fi was bad, your VPN wouldn't really work, and you'd be toast. Like, you don't have a chance. Like so that was a struggle. Like every time you pull your phone out of your pocket, basically you have to connect to a VPN, and it's like the connection has to be perfect, or else your phone is like just insane. Like you can barely use it. Like it's so slow, or just nothing will load or whatever. And that happens quite often.
Is that a thing there? Like their internet speeds aren't quite up to
you think I think their internet speeds are really good actually, but it's just because I think they're trying to block these, like,
block everything.
Yeah, they block
all the
literally
American
everything.
Stuff.
Like you can't see. Like if you open up the internet, like you're not going to see a single word in English.
Yeah, there's no Google.
Straight symbols. No Google. Like
no Facebook.
No news. Not even like you couldn't even go onto a site where it was like maybe like a Chinese site with that's like informing.
Right. Or like a North American Chinese site.
Exactly.
Or something
There was nothing. Like. Yeah. So that gets to be frustrating, and then you throw in the aspect that you're just like always in a hotel, like you got your two beds beside each other and a bathroom. Like it's it gets to be a little bit tough, but that's the life out there.
What's the food situation then? You guys just eat out all the time?
Food is interesting. Yeah, so we, for the most part, we'd eat out. When we're in China, it's actually funny that there's a cheesecake factory probably like 15 minutes from where we were, and guys are legit that's where they would eat all their meals, straight cheesecake factory, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Like it's pretty absurd.
They serve like normal food there, right? Not just cheesecake.
Yeah.
I've heard KFC's
actually pretty good
there too.
KFC's huge there. Yeah. KFC's like competing with McDonald's over there. Like it's
damn, really?
They are everywhere. Yeah, the McDonald's is okay, it's fine, but yeah, like unless you're in kind of a westernized area where there's like a lot of people, like a downtowny kind of area or something, or like in the malls and whatnot, then you can find yourself with some interesting options for sure. But but I didn't find it to be too bad. Like there's malls actually everywhere in China, and you can eat pretty much whatever. I mean, it's a big city too. It'd be like going to New York City. Like you're not just getting American food or whatever, right? They have all the cuisines. Like so it's okay. It gets expensive to not eat Chinese food all the time, but yeah, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? You can't go noodles for every single meal.
Right.
So
did you guys explore a little, or is everyone a little nervous?
Well, I actually got in
have
there.
Their North American palates.
yeah. Well, I got there and I was kind of excited to kind of try some stuff out, but so yeah, I ate around a little, but after doing it for a couple weeks, it kind of loses its novelty. It's like going on vacation. And
right, by the end
you're going to Thailand and meal. Yeah, exactly, and you're eating Thai food the whole time or whatever. Like at the end of those 2 weeks, you just cannot wait to get home. So you kind of have a little bit of that going on in your head, like kind of the whole time you're there, because there's just never really that comfort. You're never like, you can't eat a home meal. Like I couldn't cook a meal all year, so stuff like that gets to you a little bit. But
damn,
yeah,
interesting. Wow, what was it like just walking down the street, being like? Busy. Let me tiptoe around this, but anyone I've known who's gone to China says they get stopped on the streets and stuff. Like, did you?
Well,
hopefully that's.
Well, luckily I look a little Chinese.
Yeah,
so,
that's
so
what
that
I'm getting
helped,
at.
So I don't think I was too out of place, but I mean,
but if you're walking around with the hockey team,
exactly, I'd always be walking around with a blonde kid with blue eyes, and actually it wasn't too bad. I didn't notice it that much. Like you get this, like you can always tell people are staring at
looking
them.
at you.
Yeah, for sure. But a couple times like people would get super excited and like come up for pictures and stuff with some of the guys, and it's pretty funny, man.
But it's not because they knew you as hockey players.
Certainly not. No. Not even close.
Damn. What? That's funny. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, how many people usually go to the games?
So we actually would have decent fans. I think they could do a little bit better job with with the marketing and whatnot. And
they have a full size stadium, right?
It's a smaller rink. I think it holds like 3,000 maybe.
Like kind of a college rink sort of thing, or junior.
Yeah, it's kind of like a college rink.
Yeah.
We'd get some fans. I don't know. We'd probably get around 1,000, 1,500 a night maybe. Like there'd be nights where it'd be actually packed in there, and there'd be like I don't even know, max capacity was probably I'd guess like 3,000 or so. So there'd be nights where it'd actually get pretty loud, and it's kind of funny. The production value of the sporting events in China is quite a ways behind what we know
really?
over here.
In what way?
Well, it's like it'd be like here if I don't know, if Canada, like if Edmonton tried to put on like a cricket game, like it would just wouldn't have the same customs and stuff. Like everything's different.
Okay.
A little bit disorganized. You got like there'd be games where the announcer's mic would just be like 100% maxed out, and like this guy would be literally screaming the whole game, and you're like, what is going on, man? Like, yeah, this
did the announcer speak Chinese, I guess?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Yeah, just screaming Chinese shit all game. But the fans seem to love it.
Yeah.
I think as the season went on, like we slowly to get more fans, and
so the announcer would do like color commentary instead of just reading the stats, kind of thing. Is that
no,
like they probably want to explain it to the fans, right?
Yeah, they would actually try and do a job of that. I think they'd have like instruction, like they'd give out like little noisemakers and stuff, and it would have like the rules of hockey on there and stuff like that, and so they'd try and help them along. But I sat out a couple games during the year, and I think the best part would be the intermission shows that they'd have, and man, so they'd bring out like two 15-year-old like younger girls, and they just they'd walk out in whatever they wore to the game, no helmets, nothing, and they'd have them like play tug of war at the middle of the rink, like like that's what they thought would be a good idea, and I'm sitting in the stands, I'm like, oh my god, like someone's head is gonna crack open tonight, like they're just like playing tug, or like falling around the ice, and they'd have people like come in and like try and shoot pucks at the net, like from the half, like that's pretty standard.
Yeah, that's pretty.
But just like pretty crazy stuff. Like I don't think you can quite do this. Yeah, like So I don't know. They had some. It was definitely interesting, but not quite the same as over here.
Mm-hmm. What about when you play in? I'm assuming that when you play in all the other cities, they speak, like the announcers speak the native language. Mostly Russian, right?
Yeah, mostly Russian, yeah, for sure.
Do the players all talk to each other in Russian?
The players are pretty Russian. I mean, there's probably like 3 to 4 imports on every team, and normally those guys are North American. But yeah, like you'd be playing a different team. Everybody's speaking in Russian.
That's wild.
Which is pretty wild.
I also think just sitting there and like hearing the announcers yelling in a language you don't understand, and you'd be like, what the fuck is going on? It would just be so many variables spinning around, you know?
Yeah. There's obviously where it's more popular though in that league too.
Yeah, for sure. There's actually some pretty cool places to play.
Yeah.
I mean, you get into like Moscow, St. Petersburg, and then even some of the like, you know, smaller Russian cities, like more like in Edmonton almost, like those would be really fun places to play. Like we'd play in Siberia and it'd be like the fans are going absolutely bananas the entire game, like stuff like that. So that was pretty cool as well.
Nice. What about what would be the biggest crowd?
Let me. I think some of those rinks in Russia, I think they're probably 12 to 14,000, like pretty big. Like there's a couple rinks that are like legit rinks. Like if you put an NHL team in some of these rinks, like they'd be like, this is unreal. Like it's pretty good too. So yeah,
but they're still a little bit smaller.
I'd say a little bit smaller. Yeah, I think it would actually kind of help us out when we'd go home, because we'd go home and like it'd be a pretty small venue. Like you don't get the same kind of noise. Like people like these teams just flew in from Russia to China. I'm sure those guys don't really want to make that road trip, and so it actually kind of helped us at home, because we were true. We got to the point where we're like, this is what it is. Like we got to go out and
You're
play.
You're kind of used to it.
Yeah, we would just kind of play and we'd have fun with it. But yeah, I could imagine somebody like the Finnish team coming to China. It's like,
oh man,
I don't know about that road trip, but
that'd be a rough one.
Yeah. A little bit different than playing out in Calgary, eh?
Certainly. Yeah, very much.
Yeah. What was that like? Because you played 2 games, 3 games?
4 games.
4 games.
Yeah, 4 games right at the end of 2017.
And you scored a goal.
Scored 2. Still on a 2-game heater. Yeah, okay. I like to tell people that one.
Nice.
But
the stats.
Yeah. Calgary was great too. It was. I had some fun years there, but nothing like going over to China.
Yeah. What was the because that would have been the biggest crowd you played in front of, I'm guessing, at a Calgary game?
Probably, yeah. We'd play. I played all my games in Calgary and one in Winnipeg, and Winnipeg was really fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy there. I think they were having
loved their hockey.
They were having a sick year that year, going into playoffs. Everybody's fired up, and that was really cool. Get some.
Yeah, I don't know. What's it like? Sure. What's it like stepping out in front of 17,000, 18,000
Yeah,
people?
man, it's kind of hard.
I always wonder what goes through those guys' heads. I know you'd get used to it eventually, but
yeah, you'd get used to it. But I mean, I was never to the point where I got used to it.
Right.
But you just kind of do it. Like you
just kind of have to.
Yeah, you wonder what it's gonna be like, and then I mean, it's kind of what you think. You're out there, and there's people absolutely everywhere. Like there's people that are like way up in the rafters, you can't even see them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You just kind of not really block it out, because it's pretty cool. You get some energy and stuff from that too. But yeah, I guess for the most part, you just kind of do it. It is what it is.
Well, once the puck drops, kind of thing, as cheesy it is, you kind of have to play the game, right? You click a little bit there.
Yeah, you're worried about not fucking up on the ice more than the fans, really. But
do they tell you to not look in the stands? I've heard that's a thing.
No, not really.
No.
I mean, I guess it's kind of common sense, I guess.
Yeah.
To not,
not be
waving at your parents or your buddies out in the stands.
Yeah.
It could be a rough one.
The hot chicks.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a different pace of things from Travis Moore's Bantam Double A team. Man.
A good squad.
I was going to ask, did you guys play on the same team at all at any point? Just one time, or?
Yeah, Bantam Double.
Bantam Dubs,
okay.
Man. That was a fun year.
R.E. Dub doesn't even exist anymore.
He was Travis Moore. He was a good coach, man. Yeah. He was fun.
Was that, so you would have been grade 9 and you grade 8? Is that right?
I guess so.
Okay. Yeah.
I was actually looking at, because I was looking at Hockey DB or whatever. It was like, where has he been playing? Just going through and everything. And,
CAC, baby.
Yeah. But they've changed the name of the it's no longer Bantam or Midget.
Yeah.
It's like U15,
yeah.
U16, and then U18.
Oh, really?
The whole hockey system's kind of getting turned upside down in Alberta. I don't know about the rest
different.
Yeah, it's crazy though. You got all these kids going to
it's all the private schools and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't really know how that's gonna work because you have so many players, and then I think it's like $30,000 to go. To go to some of these schools. It's like, geez, you're putting your kid into grade 7 or 8, and you're absolutely paying out you're screwed. Like,
exactly.
Like, I don't know what these parents are doing.
Oh, so do they do the junior high as well at like those, like the X Academy or whatever?
I think so, man. Okay, I think it's starting earlier and earlier every year, and
damn.
Yeah, so
I know that it was going on in the background when we were playing.
Yeah, well,
that's kind of
Well, I feel like when we were playing, it was kind of, everybody would play for their club, but then you'd have like about half or so. Like you'd have a lot of kids that were going to these hockey academies, but that was more school. Like you weren't playing for your school, right? And I think that's
didn't have like high school hockey teams or anything.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of all changing, and
like
it's
maybe to kind of taking a page out of what the States does, as my understanding.
Yeah,
I don't
guess
really
so,
know,
but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
how
really
it's gonna
different.
Work, man.
Yeah,
it seems.
And the cost of it too is the like astounding thing.
Yeah,
and yet everyone's kind of going for
legit
it.
Mind blowing. Yeah, so
it's pretty wild.
We'll see how long that sticks, or if it kind of catches on and stays, or what. But,
yeah, I don't know. It is. Yeah, there was some big changes with that, and then because I think in like someone told me the midget I think it was MLAC and KC merged at a bunch of levels because they couldn't get it. They didn't have enough kids or whatever.
Well, yeah, having all these kids going to schools now, it's gonna really water down, a system that was actually pretty damn good system.
Yeah.
It's if you compare that to like just the way hockey was in Edmonton for youth hockey, like it always seemed pretty great the way things work. But now if you have a kid who's a superstar and he's doesn't have, his parents don't have the income to put him into the top of the line, then he's
granted. I do think they have scholarships now.
I think they do too. I've actually heard about that too, but I think that's those are going to get saved for
the next
McDavids
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And then you're going to have all these kids who
kind of dispersed everywhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have all these kids who are who have potential or who haven't quite reached it yet, or a little bit behind, where they're not really going to have that time to level out, which I think might be a tough thing over time. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't really thought of that. Well, even because you were a little more of a late bloomer in your hockey career,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And I'm sure my parents would have done everything they could, but yeah, you're going to have late bloomers that aren't going to be able to make it through because
or the kids who were legends in elementary and are absolute duds later on. But it happens.
Yeah. That's super fucking interesting to me too, because a lot of kids honestly don't turn it on till 16, 17.
Something kind of clicks, or the right coach or the right program or whatever, right? So
well, everybody that I can think of that was like killing it at like age 8 through 14, people just picked up at 16, 17 and just kind of like
it was almost more,
so it's almost like you're almost investing in like this group only to have this group end up being the
flourish
and
you see the real
that's fucking interesting to me actually.
I don't know what so obviously you've played in a lot of different leagues, right? So how does KHL compare to like North American game? And then I know obviously AHL, NHL is a different caliber, but is there an obvious difference between those leagues, because it's younger, right?
The KHL is probably a little bit better than the American League,
right?
You have a lot of guys. You have some really good Russian players over there that just for whatever reason might not want to come to the NHL and whatnot. And then the American League is very, I guess, Canadian American for the most part. Like you don't have a ton of the only Europeans that you really have are the ones still trying to make the NHL. Like, I think once guys kind of realize their shot might be over, like a Russian player, for example, like that guy's gone. Like he's going home, and doesn't mean they're bad players. Like some of these guys are unbelievable. So you kind of have a weird mix there of really young, like just superstar Russian players that you'll probably be seeing in the NHL, and pretty soon you have a lot of veterans that go overseas to whether their career's winding down or just not at the caliber to play in the NHL, but still want to make NHL money, I guess. So a lot of those guys will go over to the KHL. So you have a lot of really good talent over there, and then the game's a little bit different too. I mean, it's people think it's super skilled over there, and it's just you go over, score goals. Like, I mean, I kind of had that mindset going in. Like I was like, the ice is a bit bigger, it's more open, it's more open ice, and for that reason you'll get more chances and whatnot. But yeah, it's actually a very defensive league. Like you have like really good D-man, teams play like strict systems over there. It's not like the run and gun that like people I'd say over here would think it would be. So
right. Yeah.
Really good goaltending. So like at the end of the day, I went over there and I was like, holy shit, like it ain't gonna be easy. And I think it got a lot of guys learned that pretty early, and yeah, the league's actually quite low scoring. Like a lot of the games end up being like 1-0, 2-0, 2-1.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
it's pretty like which gets actually kind of tiring to see that. But yeah, it's a good league. Like it's fast, and you got a lot of really good players there.
So what about, and we were even talking the other day about like the different ice sizes and stuff.
Yeah.
Kinda,
so
like that would be
that's another aspect is, I mean, over here, like, I mean, pretty much any league you play in, you got one size of rink. It's probably going to be NHL size, and that's the end of it. But so in the KHL, you got 3 types of rinks. You have the NHL size, which is what we're used to. Olympic ice, which is quite a lot bigger. Like, I think it's
massive.
Yeah, I mean, once you get out there, it's like, holy shit, you're skating on a lake pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you have Finnish ice over there, which is in the middle of the other two. So it's
just to make it complicated.
To make it complicated. So, and I actually think the Finnish team has NHL ice. So I don't know how that even works, but but yeah. So going from you basically go from these games where it's very slow, a lot of open ice. Everybody's the puck just it doesn't move quite as quick, and that's how that's what our ice size was in China. So it's like this huge rink.
It was Olympic
in Olympic in China. So you have this massive rink. Not a lot of fans. It's not that loud in there. It's like it seems kind of dead some of the times. Yeah. And the game will be slow and low energy and whatever. And then we'll fly to Moscow, and we'll be playing, one of the top teams in an NHL size rink, and everything's happening so fast. You're like, holy shit, like what's going on out here? Like this is the best team I've ever played against, and and so you honest to God feel like that some of the time over there. So there's a lot of just adjusting, between ranks, which is crazy.
It's just it sounds like such a wild league, and not even in like a disorganized way. It's more so just that there's like it covers so much land and like so many different cities and like people and cultures and shit. Like it's just so different.
Yeah,
right?
That's honestly well said. There's just you can play in the American League, and I did, and you kind of just get into a bubble. Like man, I'm playing in California. I go from one California city to the other, and life's good. You're doing the same shit all the time, and you get into a routine, and then you go over there, and it's just
a little more
something.
Shock to the senses.
Yeah, you get something new every single day, and you never really settle in. So
surprise, motherfucker.
Shit. I don't know. Like what? So what about the like? I don't know, day-to-day life. Like, was there anything just really hard to get over? Or you were like, this is the craziest land on earth, or what?
Yeah, well, I'd say the worst part of your day is
The travel.
the travel. Sorry, not even the travel between cities. Just like getting to the damn rink in Beijing. Like it's insane. So we actually
Yeah. Do people like drive? Do you Uber?
we pretty much Uber to the rink every single day. I would take the train. I'd take the metro every once in a while.
Okay.
And that wasn't too bad. We actually knew when you took the subway, it would be you like a 10-minute walk, 35 minutes on the subway, and then another 5 or 10 minutes to the rink once you get out of there. And so that was one option, and then the other option is to take an Uber, and it would take anywhere from like 35 minutes to an hour 20. Like it was insane. Like this traffic is it ain't no fucking joke there. Like you are if you're getting in a vehicle at any point, you should probably just like shut your mind off and just chill out a bit, because if you don't do that and you're worried about your Uber driver, like it gets very frustrating. Like it's brutal. You're just stop and go for like an hour 20 to go like 8 kilometers. Like it's like
might as well have just walked.
Literally, you could almost walk. Some of the guys on the team actually got scooters at the start of the year.
Oh, okay.
And so
like
they would,
mopeds?
Yeah, like mopeds.
Yeah.
And so some guys would like scooter to the rink every day, and that'd be a little bit quicker because there's just
you can kind
bike lanes kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's fucking insane too. You have literally cars coming at you at every direction. People drive very weird there. I mean, obviously you get the stereotypes of the Oriental driver, but it's very different there. It's like it's just a different.
Is it kind of like how the lanes are more recommendations than rules kind of thing?
Yeah, a little bit. Like if you've been to any foreign country, the driving is always different. But it was, like that. It's very slow. Everybody's always merging in and merging out. Like they're actually pretty good drivers there, because you have
they like honk as like a language.
Yeah,
kind
exactly.
Of thing?
People are honking constantly.
Yeah.
And like people actually drive pretty well there, but it's like more spatial awareness and less speed. Like nobody's really going, like I don't think I went past 80 kilometers an hour like the entire year pretty much.
Yeah,
which that gets to be
I know
a little bit.
My dad's been to South America and parts of the Middle East, and he says it's kind of like that, where like driving is this weird, like it's very orderly here, but over there it's kind of this weird, like everyone just kind of goes,
everybody just does
works their way through, and
there's actually less accidents than you'd think for how much shit is going on at all times. But
what's the like nightlife there in Beijing? Also, do they have, how we have like downtown White Ave, where there's like Calgary has like Beltline and whatever the fuck. Like,
there's
but
different
I just
areas.
Picture it as like one big downtown. So like I don't know.
It kind of is like that, and it is in the sense where there's just like fucking skyscraper after skyscraper absolutely everywhere. Like it doesn't matter how far you are from the middle of the city. Like there are huge buildings that are just seemingly endless. So that's pretty wild. But yeah, there's areas that you can go out. There's actually one area that's pretty Americanized.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of the tourists go, and there's a lot of shopping and a lot of restaurants and whatnot. So that's probably the main area that we'd kind of go out. But yeah, the nightlife's okay in China. I mean, I think a few years ago, like they were kind of trying to shut it all down, like all the alcohol and everything, and it's kind of starting to come back a little bit. But
really,
but yeah, it's okay. Like you can go have really nice dinners and then go out. There's like there's a handful of nightclubs that are actually pretty crazy. Thinking of like it's like I remember one of the first weekends we get there, and me and my buddy got separated from kind of a group of us, and we end up going, like we get a pin, like people are telling us to go to this place, and then I think we hopped onto like a scooter, like some random person gave us a ride, like we didn't even speak English, we're just kind of hopped on the back of a scooter and whatnot, and we end up getting to this place, and we walked downstairs, and we honest to God couldn't believe our eyes. Like it's like this ginormous like nightclub hall, like it kind of like if the Shaw Conference Center was just like a straight club. Like there's just like
Oh, yeah.
booths and tables like everywhere. The loudest music you've ever heard. Like you can't walk, like you walk out of there at the end of the night and you can't hear a damn thing.
Yeah.
And then you just have all the Chinese just getting after it, and it's actually pretty funny. But it was a good time. So there's some pretty cool nightclubs and
Interesting.
whatnot in China.
Did you guys get to go out in like Russia at all?
Yeah, Russia is the place to go out. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
I mean, that place is insane. I mean, it's Russia. It's probably pretty much what you'd expect. Like just wild places.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vodka is water.
Yeah.
Lots of vodka.
Water
yeah.
is vodka.
Yeah, I think that's vodka and wine is pretty much all. I don't know if I drank a single other drink the entire year, but
What? Yeah. I don't know. Can you elaborate on any of the wild nights, or are we going to get anyone in trouble here?
Do you remember any of the wild nights?
Yeah, that's
Definitely,
a more important question.
yeah. Well, Russia. If you go to Moscow, basically there's places like everywhere. So you go. It's kind of similar. I mean, it's a big city. You have really, really good food in Russia. Actually, that's a very underrated thing I'd say
really?
about the place. Yeah, like just really good restaurants, affordable, really good. I mean, you've heard about Russian girls. I mean, the Russian girls are no joke. Pretty unbelievable out there.
Yeah.
And then yeah, that I mean, going out, it's similar to China. Like you have these massive clubs that that you can go into. Actually, we one of the best nights we had in Russia was actually the Super Bowl. And
okay.
Yeah, so we had a game on the night of the Super Bowl, and of course the Super Bowl we were in Moscow, and it would have been, I think like the game started at like 4 a.m. or something. So we played a game, like everybody kind of reconvened, and then we ended up going out that night, and we heard about this Super Bowl party. Like guys are just like kind of going through the weeds on Instagram trying to find like a place to go and whatever.
Yeah.
And so guys found we're like, okay, it seems like there's one Super Bowl party, like let's go. Like everybody's gonna watch the Super Bowl. So we go to this place, and just a massive like Budweiser sponsored hall. You get every all the beer. It was like $40 to get in, and you have free beers. They have like the Lombardi Trophy out there. They have like the biggest TV you've ever seen, and then it was just like a whole event the entire night. Like they had cheerleaders at this thing, just like ripping around. They're doing like contests. Like people are just screaming and Russian on the mic, and then the Super Bowl came on, and that was pretty sick. I think guys ended up going to different bars after the So the Super Bowl's on probably like 4 till 8.
Yeah.
And you had guys like that left that place, and we'd go to like a different bar. Like you like there'd be a lineup outside of bars at like 8 a.m. the next day, and you're like, what is going on?
Really? Shit.
Yeah.
Last call is a bullshit thing in North America.
I don't think it ends
What a terrible
there.
Western invention.
Yeah. It's only a North American thing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we had some pretty fun nights for sure.
That's wild. I like that. Should we pause for like 5 minutes here, gentlemen?
Sure. Absolutely.
Good.
Anyways, what were we talking about?
Golf.
Wild golf.
Marriage.
Moscow.
Good
Some
things.
great combo during the break.
Good things.
So I think a lot of people have probably listened to the Spit and Chicklets with Brandon Yip from last year.
Yeah, for sure.
So, because I think the interesting part was him talking about the owner of China's team.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, this
is it a Russian guy?
No,
or
he's
is he
a Chinese guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes. I think he has a lot of money, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's actually a good dude. He doesn't speak the best English, and we don't see him that often. But but yeah, it's funny. He got this like he just looks like your average Chinese dude, and just you see him every so often. But the best part about this guy is he'll come in after games and after a win, everybody's in there, fired up to see Billy, and Billy's just going crazy, and he'll always give us like a nice like 2.5, 3 minute speech, like a little too long, and nobody really gets the gist of what he's saying.
Yeah.
And but the boys absolutely love it.
That's awesome.
And yeah,
I like it.
He's a good dude, but yeah, he doesn't look like anything special, but yeah, the guy's awesome. I mean, he obviously, you heard on with Yipper's podcast that he's got his jet and spitting on the floors and kind of doing his thing,
Doing what
out
he
there,
wants,
doing literally what he wants.
Oh yeah,
so,
I like it.
So yeah, I was hoping we get to see the jet at some point, but
you didn't?
Maybe next year.
Were you did the team have one?
So we charter flights.
Oh, okay.
So just your standard plane. Everybody kind of gets their own row, and so you can still lay down. It's pretty good, but
yeah.
But yeah,
not quite the
we don't
not quite the
get,
PJ lifestyle.
We don't get
yet.
the PJ, and we don't get to spin on the floors. So that's a shame. Maybe in the future.
Yeah, maybe if you win a championship or make the playoffs, I don't know. That'll be the
hopefully.
reward.
Yeah, I heard he's got
Flight.
a yacht too. So
maybe
shit. Maybe if we win a ship sometime.
Why did he just like hockey or what? Do you know his story?
I don't know. I mean, I think he seems to love hockey.
Right. Yeah.
So that's good. But yeah, I don't really know what got him into it. But must have seen something. And yeah, I mean, if you have the money, you might as well start a KHL team. Have some fun.
What else would you do with your time?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So yeah, if you like hockey and you're over there, so
fair enough.
Shit. Yeah. I don't know. It's just so interesting. I don't know. It's just like it sounds so different. Like what we're
so different
used to or even think of for hockey, right? So
yeah. Well, that's the thing is you leave and you're gone for 7-8 months and you're nothing. You don't really get to go home. I mean, we one of the really nice things about the KHL is that there's these international breaks throughout the season. And so basically these breaks will happen. There's 3 of them, and basically there's like a 7 or 8 day break from KHL games, and it's so that basically we can the countries with players in the KHL and then all those European leagues, it actually all runs on the same schedule. Players go back to their home countries and we'll do like a little mini training camp, and then normally they'll go and play in a tournament with 3 or 4 other countries. And so there's basically these like international kind of
like friendlies
national like
kind of thing.
Yeah, like these national development kind of things.
Okay.
So yeah, they're like friendlies, but yeah, I guess it gives these teams to just get a chance to get all the Czech players in one place, and then they play and then kind of practice with their own guys. But
so what did you guys do?
So yeah, the way it worked for us was that because there's not really a Chinese national team yet, or like they don't really have us doing stuff in these breaks, we basically get these like 4, 5, 6 day vacations like during the year, which is unbelievable. So you basically play hockey until I think it's November is the first one, and then all of a sudden the boys get like a 6-day break. We're in China, and we're either in China or Moscow, and then we can basically fly wherever we want. Like we have the freedom to literally do our own thing. So it's pretty cool. The first break I actually came home, came back to North America for a bit, which was a nice needed break, and then the other 2 we had a group of us went to South Korea and then went to Dubai for the other one, which is
nice.
pretty cool places.
Yeah,
pretty cool to get to do like right during the season. So yeah, that was awesome.
How often are those breaks?
There's 3 of them. They're like actually breaks up the year really nicely, because I think the first one's November, second one is I think start of January, and then the next one's like start of February almost. So yeah, those were sweet. I mean, South Korea and Dubai are pretty cool spots.
So did you guys come back with like there's the Vegas flu? Did you have like the South Korean flu after that?
Actually, it was actually unreal.
Or Dubai flu.
We came back from Dubai, and all the guys that went to Dubai like played unbelievable the next game. So
oh really? You were off the hook.
Yeah, Dubai crew was going. But
shit. What was that? Yeah, damn. Where'd you guys stay?
We actually stayed right on the Palm
Okay,
in Dubai.
yeah.
Like rented out an Airbnb. I think there was like 5 of us. It was like $100 a guy a night, and it was sick. Like you're
Pretty rowdy
right on the
house or what?
Palm. So it's actually pretty quiet.
Okay.
I mean, Dubai's kind of weird. They have interesting
Actually,
laws
can
about
you like
drinking
drink
and alcohol.
yeah, what?
So you can drink, but they don't have liquor stores. So you have to get all your alcohol from the airport.
Okay.
So which is kind of
Really?
weird, but whatever. So you do that, and then I think you can only drink if it's like a register. Like there are places you can go and drink. Like we went to like great restaurants with drinks and stuff, and they have like clubs and stuff. But I think it like the place has to be a hotel or something
Oh, okay.
to
Just
allow.
really specific rules.
Yeah, they're pretty weird, but
Mhm.
but yeah, super cool place. We had a couple pretty fun nights there as well. A couple fun days too.
Intriguing.
You go
Yeah.
to the Burj.
We went to the Burj. Yeah, I actually went there. I went there alone. Just kind of buzzed around the last day. All the guys left, but yeah, we like rode camels and yeah, went to these like quadding through sand dunes and
That's dope.
stuff like that. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
We need to Photoshop a picture of Spencer in his hockey outfit riding a camel.
That's a
Sort
good
of thing.
idea.
That'll be the
That-
cover
that'll be
photo,
the cover photo.
for the.
Yeah.
That'll just sum up his experience real.
I'll see what I can do about
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, get to work on that. Shit, man. Well, I don't know. You're a more cultured, worldly man now, or what?
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Shit,
I've seen
that
some
sounds so
stuff.
wild. Fuck. So it must be
Yeah.
nice to come back here and kind of mellow out a little
Yeah,
bit,
it was
right?
it was honestly weird. Like I came home and I was like, fuck. Like I haven't sat.
Well,
in a
and you
re-
were forced to stay inside for 2 months or whatever,
yeah,
right?
that's the other thing. But the other thing is funny is like we sit in these like Russian or Chinese cities and like we all speak English, so we just kind of say whatever we want, and like because nobody else really speaks English, so
Mhm.
like there'll be times where the boys are like getting pretty rowdy at a dinner table, like out at a nice restaurant, and you just kind of take it for granted, but like nobody
Right.
knows what we're saying, so like guys will say some pretty absurd stuff like out loud, like even in the taxis and everything, but luckily that didn't come back to bite us in the ass, but yeah, so basically I came home and I was like, shit, like I haven't sat in a restaurant where I can like hear other people having a conversation, or like I haven't like ordered food in English, like instead
just,
of just like pointing
point.
at shit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was kind of weird when I got home. I was like, fuck, like there's people everywhere. They can all hear what I'm saying. Like, yeah, so that was pretty odd. But yeah, then we went into lockdown for 2 months, so I was basically right back into it.
Yeah.
You mean I
But,
can't comment on the waitress's tits? God,
Yeah,
Can't
to her face. Like,
It's just swearing. And
Yeah.
being idiots.
oh yeah. Damn.
what other sports are big in China? I don't even fucking know.
Well,
Basketball.
Basketball's kind of big.
Okay, yeah. Olympic
I-
weightlifting.
Yeah, Olympic weightlifting. I think that is that kind of their gig. I feel like it's a lot
Isn't
of like
baseball like
individual sport.
moderately popular as well? I don't know.
I didn't see any baseball shit when I was there.
Like
so-
I know
Japan's big for
Japan,
baseball.
Korea.
Japan is, yeah.
I don't.
And Korea.
I thought maybe in China, but maybe
They
not.
don't really they just don't really do sports over there. I don't really know. It's
Mhm.
all. I mean, you see the Chinese teams in the Olympics, but really what they're good at is like all the individual sports.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, like you see the Chinese like divers and swimmers, like
Right,
Yeah, those
right.
guys
you know track and field, Olympic weightlifting, but like
Yeah.
it's all a lot of individual sports, not a lot of like team sports aren't really a huge thing there, which I guess is kind of culturally accurate. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is there.
Interesting.
Aren't they more like a collectivist?
See, that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
too. Which is
weird.
But then if they care more about individual achievement, I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I
Yeah.
don't know,
Who knows?
but yeah, I guess they just
What I
haven't
don't know.
had it-
Whatever
haven't
floats
had
their
it in the
boat. Yeah.
past,
Well, what? So on that note, like obviously, or I shouldn't say obviously, but because they're working on a national program for
Yeah.
hockey,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
That's part of why
Mm-hmm.
this whole team is even a thing,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know where's that at? Like, do many
Yeah, so it's kind of
like I feel like the only people who would play hockey there are like little kids if it's a new sport,
yeah.
right?
So
you know
they're
what I'm saying?
actually, I think they are trying to grow it. I mean, I've
Mhm.
heard I've heard they built a ton of rinks and like all this stuff, but yeah, like so we'd go to the rink and we'd see little Chinese teams, like younger kids, like 8 to even younger. Like I think they are starting to try and get into that, and I think that's kind of what the hope is with the Olympic team and stuff, is that we're gonna hopefully we can all play. Hopefully everything works out smoothly. Hopefully we'll get in there. Is that
supposed to be next year?
It's supposed to be next year. No, the year after.
2022.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Correct.
Yes.
Winter Olympics.
Yeah. So I think the hope is that it'll kind of blow up like basketball almost in a sense, but but at the other side of that is it's like hockey and basketball. Like for basketball you need a basketball. That's it.
Right. Hockey is a lot of gear.
It's a lot of gear, a lot of money. You need ice.
Yeah.
You need all this stuff, and it's tough. Like I don't know if they'll start kind of making it more of like a government program where they can actually allow players with like low income families or whatever to put their kids into hockey, but yeah, we'll see. Apparently they've built a ton of rinks, and we're trying to, like, we do a lot of stuff with like kids at our games. Like we'll we'll skate around with them, or they'll come out like in the pregame and they'll come in our dressing room. We'll try and interact where we can. Obviously we all speak English, so but yeah, it seems like the kids like it. It seems like there's like it kind of catches on. Like I think the fans started to really like it.
Kind of figure it out, and
they kind of got it by the end of the year. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. We actually haven't heard a lot about the Olympics either. Like I don't even know. Like I know that was kind of
because that was a thing for you too, right?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons.
Playing there.
Yeah, that I wanted to go is potentially have this chance to play in the Olympics. It'd be pretty cool. But we haven't heard a whole lot, so like guys aren't really that sure. But it seems like it's gonna happen. It seems like things are gonna start moving. I guess maybe once we get closer to it. But
they do have the Olympic bid, right? Like
it's in Beijing.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll hang tight and see what happens with that.
Yeah. Interesting. That'd be pretty wild. Playing for the Olympics.
Yeah, it'd
be wild if you got to play against NHL players in the Olympics.
It will be wild. You're going to see some wild scores, I think, if that ends up happening. But I think they kind of released the Team Canada like mock roster a couple months ago, and we were sending it to the boys in the group chat on the China team. It's like you got Sidney Crosby on the third line, and like McDavid's with McKinnon and someone else on the first side. It's like, holy shit, like this is if this ends up happening, we are out there against these guys. Like it's gonna be an interesting go. We're gonna have to be shooting pucks out of our zone as quick as possible, because that is about the only chance we have. So
oh man,
so 12.
So was the goal kind of to have most of the guys on this Beijing team like a little Chinese, or
yeah, kind of similar to me.
I don't know. I followed their Instagram, and judging on looks,
it's
not all of them really were. I don't know.
Well, there's probably almost half, I'd say.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it's actually pretty good. There's there's a decent amount, but so yeah, we'd almost have like guys like me, guys like I don't know, Tyler Wong and Brandon Yep, like all good players and trying to get out there, but obviously it doesn't seem like there's quite enough of us. So right. So for now we have there's quite a few just good old white boys on the squad, and those guys stick out like a sore thumb in China. But we'll see. I think as we get closer, I don't know, maybe they'll try and keep doing more or whatnot. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to win in the KHL right now, and so you got to get
I guess you have to focus on
that
first
as you can.
too, right?
Yeah.
So actually, has there ever been like a Chinese-born professional hockey player?
Yeah, so there's actually, I think there's a couple that have been drafted. I don't know about born in China, playing in the NHL. I think there's a couple here or there that like recently been drafted,
sort of cracked
and I mean I probably played with these guys this year. Like I played with a couple guys that have been drafted to the NHL, and I think there's like 3 or 4 that are fully Chinese. They for the most part play on the VHL team, which is kind of like what the American League is to the NHL.
Oh, okay.
Guys, they would go up and down a little bit. They'd be with our team a lot, and then
Right,
get
right.
sent down for
Okay,
kind of
so
like development. But
so
yeah,
the-
there's a few of them.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a
K-
big young D-man who's actually
Okay.
pretty decent. Couple forwards, so yeah, we'll see if
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm sure they'll keep getting better over the next couple of years, but yeah, maybe in the future.
So the KHL does have like a secondary league?
Yep, it's called
Like an AHL to the.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's called the VHL. It's actually.
I
think this
team
is
have to
insane.
travel as much too?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I think this is insane. Is that the VHL team? They travel almost as much as us. And they have to take commercial flights, and I can't imagine some of those travel days.
Oof.
It's probably gets tough. I don't know if you guys know Brandon Mcgee. Maybe heard of him.
He's from Edmonton.
Yeah, he's
that
an
name
Edmonton
sounds
boy.
familiar.
And he was with the VHL team for
Okay.
the first couple months. He ended up being with us the rest of the year, but yeah, he said that it's the same travel, but
Shittier
you might be
quality
in a middle
of
seat,
travel.
Who knows? Yeah, it's
Oh man,
insane,
For 15,
so.
because
Yeah.
like the whole region, like AHL East Coast is more divisional to cut down on travel costs, right?
sure.
So that's kind of the business side of it. So
not there. I mean, it's tough, right?
Yeah,
It's
what
so
are you gonna
spread
do,
out.
right? You can
there's
have your
actually-
affiliate team in Russia. Like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. There's
Yeah.
actually a couple more Chinese teams in that VHL
Oh,
league.
okay, are there?
So that makes a little
Little
better.
better?
I think there's like 3 teams, 2 in
Are they-
Beijing, one or 2
Are
elsewhere.
some of them like just? Do they all have affiliates, or how does that work?
Actually, I think I would say that every KHL team has an affiliate. I don't know if they all are in the same league or how it
Oh,
works,
okay,
but yeah, like you got VHL teams everywhere, and I mean, I'd say pretty much every team would have one. So I don't know too much about that, but yeah,
Interesting.
I can't imagine their travel though.
I know in some European leagues, and maybe this is a thing in the past, I don't believe KHL was ever like this, but they're more like soccer leagues where you can get relegated if you finish last with the Tier 2
different.
league.
Yeah, none of that happens in the KHL.
Oh, okay.
Well,
but yeah,
div
that's-
up, div down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really?
I think
Yeah.
that's more like Sweden instead. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
more
know.
like Czech and
but-
Austria and
'Cause-
Hungary.
Because like KHL is moderately new. Like it's in our lifetime, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Because there was the Russian super. I think they tried to be more organized and more
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
NHL.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So-
I think
Super
so.
League.
yeah.
That might be it.
What are there other European leagues? Why are they skipping my mind right now?
Like Sweden, German,
Sweden,
Finland.
Finland, Czech,
Yeah.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
I mean,
Any
pretty much
team that has like a good Olympic presence has a
pretty much
half-decent-
every country.
yeah. And
has
any
a
small
hockey
country
league.
technically has a
Yeah.
England has a pro hockey league,
Yeah.
right? But it's
Really?
kind of
They're all
like
over the place.
it's like
Yeah, just completely.
the minor pro leagues, right? Like you don't really make a living other than in the top ones, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but there's definitely some really good hockey in those leagues too.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, even like I remember once upon a time looking at like my family is Danish, so I looked at the Danish league.
Yeah.
And like the top guys in that league had a bunch of them had like at least played in the NHL or like
yeah.
like for a game or two even
for sure.
kind of thing. So it's like, oh shit, like I thought it was like it's a way higher caliber than
Yeah.
I kind of
there's
gave it
actually,
credit for.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, I played with a lot of guys this year that have been in 2 or 3 leagues, like guys who've played in the German leagues, and the Czech league, and the Finnish league, and all that. So and guys like it. I mean, it's a cool career to have, because really, if you're good enough, you kind of have this opportunity to really just travel the world and live in some amazing places.
Yeah.
Make some pretty good money and just really see what's out there. So that's
Absolutely.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique experience.
Definitely.
And obviously, I think you may have gotten the more extreme end of it, but
most
that's good.
unique
The
of
most
the
unique of them, but
experiences.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
We'll maybe tone it down in the future. But,
Yeah.
but
So what's next? You have one more year on with them
one
too?
more year on the deal.
Yeah.
And then we kind of see how the year goes, I
see what
guess.
happens, yeah.
Obviously I want to try and have a really good year, and then and just kind of leave some options open for myself. But yes, because there's nothing really set in stone yet with anything. So So yeah, the main focus is go back there, have a really good year, and then I guess we'll see how it goes after that.
Yeah, get a chance to get toasted on national television by
Absolutely.
McDavid. I mean,
Yeah,
I'd probably take that opportunity anyways, right?
pretty
So,
good time. We'll
Yeah.
take it.
Beauty. Okay, well, fuck. I mean, we're a little over an hour. Shall we call it a
Sure.
episode?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having
All
me.
right. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, dude.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it, man. We'll have to do the follow-up episode next summer, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. See how things went.
Yeah. Exactly.